Hey, digital media artists. In this video, we're going to cover how to get started on the Halloween composite project. So the first thing I need you guys to do is go ahead and open up this reference image that we are going to use to composite. Just go ahead and click the download button and have it download into your downloads folder. Then we're going to open up After Effects. So let's go ahead and open it up right now. Okay, and once it's done downloading, let's go ahead and open up After Effects. Let's go ahead and start fresh here. So when you guys open up After Effects, it should bring you to this one under New Project. So File, New Project. And what we're going to do is we're going to open a new project with our file. And that means our image that we're going to be compositing in. Okay, so once we click on New Project, we're going to click on New Composition from Footage, and we're going to go ahead and choose the front porch image that we downloaded. And now we are here. Okay, once we're here, let's go ahead and do a couple things. Let's go ahead and lock it up so that we don't end up ever drawing on this layer. Okay, so let's talk about what we need to do to composite. So basically the steps to compositing is that given an image or a video, our job is to create surfaces that we are going to add three-dimensional objects in. So for example, if we add a pumpkin, this light is going to cast a shadow on the pumpkin onto the floor. So our first step is to kind of recreate where the camera is in real life. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and create a Maxima 4D file. Actually, we're not going to do that. We'll do that later. Okay, let's go ahead and rename our project real quickly. File, save as, and we're going to save it as our Halloween composite. Okay, and another thing you want to do is change the number of frames. So you probably have a lot of frames. I only have one. You're going to go to Composition, Composition Settings, and you're going to change the end time to be 001, 1 frame. So now that your computer won't over-render multiple frames, this is a still image that we are compositing, so that will stay 1 frame. All right, so next thing we're going to do is create a camera, and we're going to try to place it in the location of this plane that we are going to create. So let's go ahead and start by making a plane here. So you see here, I'm clicking on this tool, the rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw myself a rectangle. Okay, and we're going to turn on the 3D mode. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and rotate it 90 degrees flat. Okay, and position it at 0. So we're going to go 0, 0. And we're going to position it and orient it 90 degrees. Okay, I think I have the wrong one. Let's go a different one. I think it's this rotation. That's orientation. So I think I'm going to rotate 90 degrees in the X. So you can see here, this is my plane. And it's going to be my floor. So this shape is going to represent my floor. So I'm going to go ahead and enter to rename. I'm going to call this a middle path. Okay, and I'm going to create a camera right on top of it. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click New Camera. And I'm going to leave the Custom to Node Camera. Okay, and I actually have a custom one here. Let's go 50 millimeter. I think that's the default. I'm actually not quite sure what the default is. I think it's 50. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this camera be the active camera and place it right in the middle of the path. So to do that, we're going to use this parenting technique where we parent the camera to the path and then we unparent it. So I'm going to go here, parent the camera to the path, change its position to 0, 0, 0, and then I'm going to unparent it. And unparent. Okay. So I should be like right on top of the plane because I'm at 0, 0, 0, right? And I should be right on top of the plane. That's why you can't see it because I'm right on top of it. But if we go to 2 view, you can see that my camera, and if I could navigate this a little bit better, right? You can see that my camera is right in the middle of this path. So here's my path, here's my camera, okay? And what I want to do is I want to grab this camera, and I'm going to go to my move tool, which I think is V, and I'm going to move my camera out. I'm clicking on the path. Let me undo that. I'm going to move my camera out. And let's see if I'm on 3D. I'm going to go on world axes here. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier. And now I'm going to orbit my screen, which I think is, orbit is, I think, 1. Okay, I'm going to orbit this shot. So I'm going to switch this to perspective. Or I can do it in 4 view too, but let's do it from front default. Let's go to, actually, let's do it from the right side. Okay, and here's my path. Here's my camera. So I'm going to go ahead and use 1, 2, and pan up a little bit here. And I'm going to move my camera up because it's looking from the right side. Here's my path. Here's my camera. And I'm going to go to my camera, and I'm going to use V. I'm going to move it up, all right, and move it to the left. Okay, and then I'm going to rotate it. So I'm going to use the rotate tool and see if I can rotate it. This layer is auto-orient toward the point of interest. Rotate the layer, choose layer, transform, auto-orient for more auto-orient options. So I'm going to click OK. And this camera, I think if you got, again, it told you if you guys go to camera, you can turn on how it auto-orients. So let's go ahead and see if we can find it real quick. Where is it? So I think, yeah, I think this is auto-orient. So I should be able to click on link distance to point of interest. Yeah, I'm going to link focus distance to point of interest. Okay, so let's go ahead and move my camera here. And I'm going to change my point of interest. So my point of my interest should be somewhere over here. So I'm going to go 0, 0, 0 for now. So that means now I'm looking right at the plane. And you can see here that I'm way too far. And now I'm starting to see my plane. And I'm going to move out and up. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and move this a little up. Okay, and you can see here that it's not quite centered because I'm not centered. Let's go ahead and center me. I'm looking there. I'm moving this down. That's my X, so my Z is not centered. Let me center it here. And I am not seeing where I'm orienting, so I should be in the Y, in the X, and turn down my point of interest to somewhere over here. Okay, and now it's just a matter of moving the camera back and getting this thing to fit in here. So let's go ahead and go to the middle path real quick and change some of these numbers. So let's just say that our path is half as deep as it is wide. So I'm gonna go here, unlock this number. And let's just say this is gonna be 1,000 by 2,000. Okay, so 1,000 by 2,000. And I'm gonna switch this to 4 view so it's a little bit easier for me to do because I'm not very good at doing it in 2 view here. So here's my right view that I was over here at, right? And here's my camera, okay? And I wanna center my camera, so I'm gonna go ahead and use 2 here, kind of pan. So you can see that I'm not quite centered to my plane. because my plane should be 0, 0. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go ahead and move this over here. Okay, and I'm moving the camera. Okay, you can see here that it's slowly getting more and more balanced. If I could do this. It looks like it's moving, but it looks like I'm also... Oh, I'm trying to pan, right. Let's go ahead and go to the move tool and actually move it. There we go. Okay, so my camera's right here. This is getting better and better. So let's go ahead and move back a little bit. Okay, and I probably want to move it even a little bit more further back. Okay, and I'm going to use number 2 and kind of dolly in my mouse. Okay, and kind of zoom outward here. And I'm going to hit, again, dolly it to the center right there. Okay, and I also need to move up. So I'm going to go ahead and click back on V and move this up. And it looks like I can just scale this down a little bit or just move this path down. So let's go like, let's make it small, 500 by 1000. Okay, much better. So now we got this kind of like, it's better to be a little bit smaller than wider here. So we got this thing looking pretty centered. Now the most important part is that if you go to draft 3D mode, is to move the camera, and I'm going to go to, now that I think I got it centered, I can use just 2 view here, so you guys can see a little bit better, is to match the perspective lines. Okay, that's kind of like the most important part, is to match the perspective lines. And maybe even change this camera. Maybe I can change this camera zoom to like, instead of 5,000, it looks like maybe 2,000. Maybe a little bit more. Let's go 3,000. Okay, yeah, 3,000 zoom looks good. And let me go ahead and move my camera up now that I'm centered. Click on V. I'll move it in a little bit so that I can see it on one screen. And move it down a little bit. Okay, and then when you start getting into like these slight nuance in terms of movement, you want to like use these actual numbers and move the camera up and down. So let's go back to our camera here. So here's our camera. It looking like we can move it even a little bit more to the right. So when you start getting here, I'm going to start using like our actual numpad, right? And if you hold shift, you can kind of shift it over. So I was at 90. But I think what I want to do is move both numbers up. So if I go to the right, look something like that, and I'll move my point of interest to 75. Okay, so you've seen that I'm getting a better job of centering it. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So this 5th one's in the middle right here. So it looks like I still need to move a little bit to the right. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and move it to the right in the positive direction. So I'm going to go 80. I'm going to hit this, change to 80 as well, so I'm looking straight at it. Okay, all right. Let's see what I can do now. It looks like I can change my angle a little bit. You can see here that even though this is getting pretty centered, that my point of view needs to be changed and look a little bit angled to the right. I'm going to turn a little bit to the right. So I'm going to go into my rotation here. And let's see if I can turn it to the right. I'll probably have to turn it inside the Y direction, I think. Let's try it. 5 degrees. Yep. So let's go 1 degree. And you can see now that the perspective lines are starting to match up. You can see like this big gray one is getting pretty close to matching up with my planter right here. So I'm going to need to go maybe a ½ degree more. And looks like maybe a little bit more. maybe 1.7. Maybe just try 2 degrees. Let's try, looks like, let's go 3 degrees. Am I going too far? Nope, actually I think it's getting better in terms of perspective, at least here and here. These lines are getting, looks like, better and better and better. I need to go shift back to the left now. So you can see this is like obviously a skill exercise where we are trying to find the exact numbers necessary for us to see this plane fit right in here and in here. So it's not an easy exercise, but I think we can do it. I think ultimately, I think it's like around 1.5. Okay, and I think maybe what I need to do now is move maybe up a little bit. So let's see, we move up just a bit. What happens to the perspective lines? Okay, I don't know if that got better or worse. It looks like it got a little bit better. Let's see if that makes sense, that if I look up, I'll look down it more. Yeah, it looks like it does make sense. So I'm gonna go click on the camera and move it up in the Y position just a little bit more. So I'm gonna go up, up. So you can see here that slightly moving up will change the angle in which you perceive the rectangle. So something like that. Okay, and it looks like I need to move a little further back because I think if I start enlarging this shape now, that it's not going to reach end to end. But it looks like the perspective lines are matching up. So let's try again, 1500. So you can see that I'm moving way too close. So I need to move back my camera a little bit more. Okay, and now I can go to my path and try to see if I can increase this to 1500. Okay, still need to move it a little further back. Right, get to fit right in there as I increase it to a little bit more. Go to the path, and again, the idea is that we keep one object at 0, 0, and that everything else that we build is going to be around it. So 1600. Looks like I did move just a hair back, and I think we're good. Something like that. So now I can go back to the path, make it 1700. Okay, 1700 is a little bit too big, but maybe if I move back just a hair, it'll fit just perfectly. And it looks like 1500 is a little bit too big, so let's go back to my middle path, go to 1650. And just move my thing a little bit closer. I think I'm good. So I'm gonna click on the Z. Let's make it a nice number. Okay, I'm gonna go up, closer. If you hold shift, you can actually move a little bit faster. So it looks like I can go just a little, and actually I think it looks about right, because right on the edge, on the lip. Okay, let's go to my middle path here. Let's go ahead and enlarge it both ways. Let's go 1700. No, wait, not 1700. Let's go 800. Okay, so you can see here that I'm not quite on the plane yet. I need to move my camera a little bit to the right, a little bit more. So again, I'm going to go in the positive X direction. So I'm going to go, let's say, let's go 80. Let's change this to 80, so I'm focused right in the middle. And 80 is a little bit too far, so let's go 75. Let's go 75. Okay, looking pretty smooth. Looks like I can go maybe 74, 74, maybe one more, 73, and 73. And now it looks like I can just expand the path a little bit, and I think I'm good. So let's go to 850, and maybe a little bit more, 860. Okay, and there we go. we're at a point where we have a basic plane that matches our perspective. Give or take, you can go on and try to get more and more precise, but you have the idea now. We might want to tilt our camera just a little bit that direction. You can see that like this side is touching, this side's not, but that side's touching, that side's not. So if we look a little bit on the Y and turn it just a hair, I think we'll get that degree. So let's go ahead and try it one more time. Turn one less degree, 1.4. Yep, looks like it just about got there. Maybe if I want to go turn it to the left a little bit more, 1.3, but that's going to probably create a gap. 1.6, maybe 1.7. Yeah, 1.7 looks right. And now I need to move just a hair to the right. So let's go back to 75. Let's bring this back to 75. Or 70. Maybe I need to go less, 70. And 70. Yep, maybe 68. Going the wrong way, 68. Okay, maybe 65. And 65. Yep, so you can see like these slight adjustments are going to make this gap even better and better and better. Or how you might change your point of view. Like if I do 30, well, that fixes it just a little bit without bring up the front. I think that went more down, which is good, I think. Yeah, so let's go a little bit more, 531. Negative 531. Let's say negative 535 and see how it dramatically changes if I'm going the right way. No, I'm going the wrong way. So it looks like 530, negative 525, and negative 520, negative 520. Okay. And you can see it's getting just about right perspective-wise. Then again, this is kind of getting into the weeds, but you get the idea is that we're trying to get just to match perfectly. So 870, a little bit wider. And again, you can actually do most of this editing when we get into Cinema 4D. So now once you have the plane and everything seems to match up and you have a pretty good plane here, now we're going to go ahead and move this all into Cinema 4D. So again, all you have is really a camera and a path and a reference image. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into File, Export, and export into Cinema 4D Exporter. Okay, and once it's done exporting, right, these will not be exported. That's fine. Click OK. Tell it where you want it. So let's go ahead and call it Front Porch Halloween. And then we're going to go YouTube here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it in my Documents folder. And now you're going to import back the file you just created. So if you go to File, Import, File, and go to the Cinema 4D file inside of your Documents folder. Now you're going to click on this, go to Edit, and go to Edit Original. And it should open up Cinema 4D. Okay, we're going to ignore that warning. And now we should have a perfect reference for us to create. So if you go ahead and look at what's been imported, you still have the middle path, and you still have a camera object. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and lock this camera. If you go to Tags, under Rigging Tags, you can protect it, and now you cannot move camera 1, which is a good thing. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that our resolution fits the image of our picture. We'll click under. Let's go ahead and save this real quickly. Before we do that, let's go ahead and File, Save. It's already saved. Let's go to here, our clapperboard with settings. Sorry, this one. And yet you want to make sure that your resolution and height match the image that we're going to use. So 4,000, 3,000. And we're going to go ahead and click close. And the next part of the video, I'll show you guys how to start putting in the references and making the surfaces. I'll see you guys in the next video.